All right, ladies and gentlemen, the NFL has changed their kickoff. If you haven't heard by now, then maybe that's why you're clicking on this video. Point is, this is going to be enormous for the game, okay? This is not some minor rule change. This is huge. And I don't want you to be confused when that first kickoff comes around and you're like, whoa, what the? So, first I'm going to break it down for you guys, and then we're going to go through why this is actually really, really good for the game of football. But before we get started, oh, tough luck, bud. All right, let's get it broken down here. We've got a few things we got to touch on and quite a few rules, actually. So this is not super easy peasy, but I think it will be pretty intuitive by the time we get through this whole thing. Here, as you can see, I do have a gridiron. I'm just now realizing I don't have a logo, so good enough. All right, now you got a point of reference here. So what we're looking at is, I kind of have it drawn up already. This is the 35-yard line. This is where the kicking team will be launching the ball from the ground from, okay? Ball's positioned here. Blue X indicates kicker. Now, you'll notice there's no other blue X's along this line. Usually there are. That's because only the kicker's standing here, okay? So the kicker is going to boot this ball and kick it from, this line alone, okay? Hope I made myself clear. Because on the 40-yard line here, now none of these lines are to scale, okay? Don't get confused. I do have markings here. So on the 40, we'll have all 10 of the other kicking team players lined up on the 40, okay? Not on the 45, not on the 35, on the 40-yard line. Now, that does conclude our kicking team, okay? So, important to note, these little black dashes, what do you think those mean? That's dead air. Dead space, rather. So there's nothing in here, okay? This is just room for anything can happen. Now, red circles, what is that? That's the other team, okay? So these red circles indicate players. In this 35 to 30 zone between the two 35 and 30-yard lines, we have to have 9 players minimum from the receiving team. Now, you'll notice these guys right up on the line, okay? These guys kind of bow. They can be in that range. These guys on the line, okay? Like coach, on the line. Now, these guys can be in the range. So there's a little bit of strategy here, and then you'll notice because there's 9 on, or in this zone, not on the line, 9 in the zone, that means there's 2 returners in this situation. Now, it does say minimum, so you could bring one of these up, go solo, and you'd have 10 blockers. Now, where does it get spicy? Okay, that's probably what you're asking. You're like, all right, I get it. This is a weird lineup, but what's the big difference? Well, if you remember, if you've ever watched football before, you probably know this. When the kicker kicks the ball, usually, let's grab a little marker here. You got your 10 guys lined up on the line with him. Ball's kicked, boom, and they start running, okay? Now, not going to be the case this year. So, let's erase this and just imagine those lines connect. What's going to happen this year, because this is only a 1-year rule, so it could change. This guy's going to kick the ball. Now, these guys are all just standing here, watching, like me. They're similar to me in this situation. Ball goes up, everyone's waiting. 3 things will start play. One of 3 things will start play. 1, the ball is caught by a returner. 2, the ball touches the ground in what is called the landing zone. Okay, and now I know this is the first time you've ever heard this word. I'll describe it. Landing zone is between the 0 and the 20. Like I said, lines are not to scale. So let's make this green. This here, 0 to 20, landing zone. Okay? Remember that. It's going to be big. That will be on the quiz. So play starts when ball is caught, ball lands in the landing zone, or if it is returned from the end zone. So they can catch it in the end zone. Now, what happens if the ball doesn't go in the landing zone, right? Because we're used to these guys. They got cannons attached to to their body. So they're kicking this ball through the uprights sometimes even. I should draw a little upright here, right through it. So what are we going to do if that happens, right? Well, think of it like this. This landing zone is a rectangle, okay? A rectangle has 4 sides. That means there are 4 places, 5 if you include in the landing zone, 5 places the ball can go. The ball can go on this side of the landing zone, that side of the landing zone, these 2 sides, or in it. Let's break them all down. If it goes long, okay, if it goes way out of the back, okay, there's 2 things that can happen. If the ball is in the end zone, not out the back, the return team can still return it. Okay, it is still eligible to be played in that situation. However, if it goes out of the back, or if the returning team elects to go this route, the ball can be downed and spotted at the 35. Hold up. That's pretty far out there. Yeah, so you don't want to kick it long, okay? Now, we know what happens when the ball goes out of bounds. We know this. This is just standard operating procedure. Ball goes out of bounds, ball gets spotted at the 40, right here. Right where these guys start. That's not good. That's like one of the worst case scenarios when that happens, right? You watch your team kick off, somehow it goes off a shank, goes out of bounds. What's your first thought? Oh, let's go. No, of course not. You're freaking pissed. You just gave them great field position. So that's pretty standard. However, here's the kicker. Here it is. If you come up short of this landing zone, if the ball doesn't drop in the landing zone, it gets spotted at the 40 as well. Okay? Not ideal. So, if you don't land in the landing zone, the ball will for sure be spotted at the 35. And rule of probability here, 1, 2, 3 of 4, 75% of the time. I know that's not how it works. It will be at the 40. So, what does this mean? What does this mean exactly? Well, kickers are no longer necessarily rewarded for just booming the ball on kickoff. They need to be a little bit more precise. Okay, so we've covered what happens if a returner catches it in, well, actually we haven't. That's where we're gonna go right now. Let's say that they do drop it in the zone. Okay, they don't miss. These kickers rarely miss anyways, unless they're a Bears kicker. So let's say it does land in the zone. And in this case, there's 2 returners, either one can catch it. If they catch it, it has to be played. No doubt about it. No ifs, ands, or buts, second guesses, or potato chips. So these guys have to return it. Now, if it bounces into the landing zone here, still have to return it. All right, you're going to have to figure that one out. If the ball bounces in the landing zone and rolls out the back into the end zone, still has to be returned. Let me double check. Or, can be downed to start at your own 20. So not ideal there, but at least it's better than starting on the 1. So technically that is on me. Should have read a little bit better. If it bounces in the landing zone and rolls into the end zone, you can take it out at the 20, which isn't as good as it was, for the past however long we've been at the 25. So you're losing 5 yards there, in theory. Okay, couple quick rules here, couple quick hitters. There will no longer be a fair catch. Thank the one above or down below or whoever you go with there. That was kind of boring. Didn't love that. Okay? That's not a thing anymore. Get out of here. Second thing. The setup and landing zones do not change after a penalty or a safety. Okay, so these people will all be in the same spot. Landing zone is still 0 to 20, goal line at 20. This guy might move depending on the situation. Third thing, you're probably wondering, what about the onside kick? How are we going to have surprise onside kicks? Well, we won't. Okay, those will no longer be a thing. Now, do remember though, onside kicks, surprise onside kick at least, very much down. I think there was only like 2 attempted last year. So don't think we're missing out on a whole lot here. The concept is gone. Yes, it won't happen, but it's not like we were really missing out on a lot of plays. So that will no longer be happening. But in the fourth quarter, there's 4 quarters. The first one, then the second, then the third. The fourth one, or the last one, you can declare you want to kick an onside kick. So what they'll do is line it up just as per usual. I don't even know if they kick it from the 35 or the 40. I would assume the 35, but been wrong a lot of times before. So They're going to line it up. And as of right now, it is the current onside kick rules. We do know that they want to have more onside kick recoveries, which would indicate they could potentially go back to that overload situation, which was banned a few years back. So if you're not familiar, right now there has to be 5 on this side of the kicker, 5 on this side of the kicker. During an onside situation, there is potential that it could switch to 6 on this side and 4 on this side, do an overload, kick it over there. You have an extra guy. Hasn't been passed. As of right now, current onside rules apply. Now, let's get into why this is so great. Because I've been on Twitter. I have been on Instagram. If you're not following me, you should. Okay? Especially on Instagram. Twitter, I don't understand it as much. Instagram, that's where it's at. All right? I'll put it up. And, people are pretty upset about this. I thought that was weird. Let me know in the comments below how you're feeling, because I'm excited. All right? Think about it like this. I don't have the exact numbers because I know no one cares. Okay, no one really cares about the exact statistics, the exact numbers. Onside kicks, returns were at the all-time lowest they've ever been last year. What? Why are we even kicking the ball? What are we doing? It's just ceremonial, okay? And I'm all for a tradition, a ceremony, whatever, okay? I get it. But isn't this football? What is this? We're taking a break? We're just taking a play off? Is that what this is? No. Don't be ridiculous. This type of play here either forces the kicker to harm the crap out of his own team, or the return team to return the ball, or get it on their 20, which is worse than it's ever been, Well, not ever, but, as of recent history. So we're going to see improved kicker play. We're going to see more returns, like an unbelievable influx in returns. I would say, I would go as far to say we might be seeing like 75% returns, maybe even more, okay? And here's the beauty of it for me. With the setup like this, we will have so much strategy involved that I just was like scrolling Twitter and I didn't even think of this one. And think of what an NFL head coach or special teams coach or ball boy even could think of. They're so much better than me, okay? So think about it like this. This is what I saw. And this was from the XFL. So we're going to take away one of these returns because it's minimum 9. You don't have to have them both, okay? So let's put this guy in the middle. Got one returner in the middle here. And let's say they slide this, but I'm not going to re-erase everything. So let's say this is all shifted. And ball comes back, gets it around, let's say the 16-yard line. And he's going to bring it up. And he's going to come this way. Now, we've got, let's say, kick return left. So these guys are going to try to come down, 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 straight up, straight up, straight up. These guys might pull and try to hook. Well, I didn't put anything here. What the heck am I doing? Well, that would be because in the video I saw, this guy hits a little bit of one of these. Bang, bang, here's a little pitch action. Whoop, and then we're going that way. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? With one back. Okay, maybe I'm dumb. And maybe that's the reason I'm talking about football and not playing it or coaching it. But that was genius to me. That was sick, okay? Now, that's only one of 1,000 million possibilities, okay? Why don't we treat this like an O-line? This is a massive O-line situation. We got our quarterback, our running back, and an O-line, D-line. Have you ever seen an offensive line work? Have you ever looked at the tape ever from any team ever? It's never just block, which is what the original was. It was all of these guys come here, these guys, it's just push them away from the guy with the ball. And that's why we always got returns out to the 17-yard line, and it never happened. It wasn't really that probable of a play. How often do they run the ball? They run the ball a lot. In the NFL? Oh, yeah. Now, granted, running backs aren't exactly valued like they used to be, but still, it's not run-pass option for no reason, right? There's two main types of plays that can be run in the NFL. If you think about this like two offensive lines, you got down blocks, you got pulls you can do, you can trap, there's all kinds of things that can happen up here. So much opportunity to get this guy the ball and get him into the end zone. Now, I'll get off my soapbox. I'll let you get back to whatever you're doing. If this is the end of your YouTube lunch situation, shout out to you because I do the same thing, you know? I appreciate you guys watching. I want to know what your thoughts are down in the comments below because I obviously love this concept. I'm really fired up about it. So let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, all that. Share it. Don't forget to share it and check out the Instagram. I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.